Welcome in, Bobcat fans. We are kicking off week 8 of the Frostburg Sports Awards with Mackenzie Alonzo, who's our female athlete of the week. She scored a pair of goals and had an assist this week in women's soccer's 2 wins. Mackenzie, a pretty good week for you guys, getting back into the win column. How would you rate your performance and the team's performance?
I think coming off of last week, we definitely we needed to pick it up. So we focused in practice this week, and we really put in the effort. Everyone, even our new freshman, Morgan, she really brought it this week. So I think everyone collectively realized we needed to focus and settle in.
So we'll start off with the West Liberty game. And as mentioned, you had a new partnership in Morgan Marizak, who had to step in after a little bit of an injury and some sickness in the team. And you mentioned that she really did step up and take on the role. It was nice to have Maddie Allen come back as well. How did you handle having a couple of new partnerships up in the strike force without your main man Tony, as we like to call her, with getting the couple of goals and having some new chemistry?
I think definitely Parker does a good job of switching it out in practice, so it's not like I just play with Tony in practice. So I do get some time with Mo and Maddie as well. So I think just always having that chemistry in practice, it just translates to the field.
I want to talk about the West Liberty game, and the first goal was really interesting to see how fast you reacted to it when Leela had the shot. Goalkeeper kind of bobbled it, and you were immediately on her thinking that she would drop it. Her and defenders didn't even think that it was going to get there. And then later in the game, you had the assist where you took a little bit of a heavy touch and then got between the legs of the defender, and then Caroline with the nice little finish on the back heel. In those two instances, it just shows your reaction time and your ability to where your speed can kind of get you into situations that other players can't help out with.
Definitely, Coach Parker tells me and Tony always, even if we think it's definitely going in, like a beautiful shot from Leela had, nice little volley, just always follow it in. The goalkeeper can always accidentally drop it or get a funny touch on it, so just always following it in. So most of the time after shots, you just see me and Tony run around and then back loop around. But and then with the other goal against with Kara's back heel, I just saw I had like the goalkeeper and then 2 defenders, but I saw Kara wide open, so I just definitely want to get the better ratio. So my 3v1 was definitely not as good as her wide open goal. So and that was a fancy little touch, very cute.
In the game against Notre Dame, then, a very tough opponent, some athletic center backs, and just a tough team to play against. The second goal that you scored, and it was, just kind of your speed got in behind for really the first time in that game. Tony with the nice little flick around the corner, and then you got maybe a little bit fortunate on the rebound, but certainly the work was done prior to having the deflection. And, what was it like playing against 2 center backs where they're, a lot taller than you and Tony, and they're pretty quick and, really were physical against you guys? How were you able to just kind of keep pushing and keep going the entire game up against 2 talented players?
I think Coach Parker talks a lot about how, they do stay on our backs a lot. So when either Tony gets the ball or I get the ball, that quick little, check off and then around and back, still staying on sides, but around them is always on because you just move around them quickly.
You've got a big week this week coming up as well with a road game against Alderson Broaddus, and then back home against a very talented Charleston team at the weekend. You guys have had a special season so far and sitting at 12-1-1, one of the best starts and seasons that we've ever had here at Frostburg. What's the mentality of the team going forward? Trying maybe not to look ahead at, the MEC playoffs or NCAA and just trying to take it one game at a time so far when you're right near the end of the season.
Well, Coach Parker always says, we don't, you can think ahead about what we have, like the MEC championship and stuff, but the most important game is what you play that day. So most important day is practice today, and then the next game ahead, Alderson Broaddus. Just focus on what you can do today and what you can improve, and that's how you keep going.
Well, Mackenzie, thank you for coming on today to talk to us. You've obviously got your classes and practices with the end of the season coming up, so really appreciate your time. Congratulations on your week, and hoping you guys can pick up some more wins here at the end of the year.
Thank you.
All right, next up we'll have Mackenzie's coach, Brian Parker, as our coach of the week, so we'll go on with some more women's soccer action. Continuing with women's soccer is head coach Brian Parker after his teams picked up a 3-1 win over West Liberty on Wednesday and then a 2-0 win on Sunday against Notre Dame. Coach, getting back to winning ways for you guys after a couple of tough results in the previous week. Back at top of the MEC North Division, and you guys, all together played pretty well and got a couple results.
Yeah, it was a good week. I mean, it was a bit of a rebound kind of week. We certainly had a couple results last week we didn't expect, and everyone's after us, right? We have this gaudy record, and there's sort of a target on our back. Um, People are preparing. Teams have athletes and ability, and so it was probably not going to happen that we were going to have a complete clean run of the MEC, and so I think we've responded very well to the challenge.
And start off against West Liberty and got a couple of new starts for your team, and Morgan Marizak and Katie Stern both ordering their first starts of the year. And Carly Gillette coming in midfield has played the past couple of games as well. And, the team really didn't seem to have any drop off from performance. And it speaks to the depth of you guys that you've spoken about it all year with us, that, you can put in certain players and really continue the team's success that the starters have.
Having depth, of course, is essential for any team at any level, and you never know what's going to happen in terms of injury, illness. We still have random things, of course, occurring as fall weather sets in, and get a little, viruses and stomach bugs around the team, which is kind of what happened to Tony. So it's terrific that we have this depth. It's a challenge to keep them all well fed in terms of playing time and minutes, and so that's really important that they realize that, there are opportunities that are going to happen. Of course, in athletics, it's not always your doing. Sometimes it's just kind of a circumstance that gives you an opportunity to play and become an important, player or play an important role. So we're thrilled about how those players have stepped up. Morgan had a terrific game, really earned that start, became our next best forward in the depth chart, and got on the scoreboard against Wheeling, which was terrific. Carly's just always been in the rotation since she's got here, really, as a center mid, and so playing a few more minutes for her it was a natural thing. So, we like the depth and the rotation, and we're happy that we are, knock on wood, relatively healthy for this time of year.
One of the things that stood out to me in that game was in the second half, West Liberty came out and looked a transformed team for the first 10 minutes of the second half and really pressured us and got their goal. But our team responded really well and really took control back in that game, got back to the 3-1 lead, and then from there it was pretty much just a matter of time before the result kicked in. And it speaks as well to the leadership, and I remember Abby Dennis and Hannah Thompson were both outstanding in getting the ball back and thwarting anything that West Liberty threw at us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a bit of a cliche, but you can win or lose games in the first minute or the 90th, and I think having that consistency about our focus and just energy level is important. It is true that we've had very good second halves. I think just as a function of our athleticism and the rotation we do have. So it was a little bit of surprise, I guess, that West Liberty kind of turned it on a little bit. They had a very defensive system, and credit to them, they frustrated us quite a bit. But sitting back, I think maybe gave them an opportunity to change their gear a little bit, which they did, and they scored a fantastic goal. Full credit to them. And our players did respond really well. We got back control of that game and finished the game in a, hard to say, kind of a professional manner, but it was a very mature way that we managed the end of that game, yeah.
Then the game against Notre Dame, a very athletic team, one that we've seen before and gave us some trouble for the first about 60 or 70 minutes back at their place in South Euclid. Coming into this one and getting an early goal from off the corner kick from Kat Smith, heading it down, and, was a little bit kind of back and forth in a very slow-paced game almost where they made it difficult on us, but getting that early goal kind of set us up to be able to handle anything that they were able to try and throw at us.
Yeah, again, it was kind of a business-like, game. We were just good enough to keep the ball and execute a little bit. Notre Dame, I'm sure, is a little bit depleted in terms of their roster, so we took advantage of that and had good matchups. I think their 24 is one of the better center backs in the conference, and she gave Tony fits, but you can't. Tony is not a striker you can manage for 90 minutes, and so she certainly got chances and was involved in a lot of the good things we did offensively. So I'm happy with the effort. I think that we need to be better. We're going to need to be better to finish the regular season. We're certainly going to need to be better in the conference tournament, but it was a good sort of on-par effort for us and a good win at home, certainly on a weekend, on a beautiful day. So feel good about how it ended.
And then the second goal with the way basically getting the result in hand. It was Tony that came up and got the nice little flick around to Mackenzie. And for about the first time in that game, she was able to get and sprint behind their defense and a little bit fortunate on the goal, but one to put away. And, just nice to have that partnership back. But How rewarding was it for you guys to get that second goal and kind of put away the worry of just a 1-0 lead?
Well, they say 2-0 for some reason is the worst lead in soccer. I think 1-0 is a little worse for sure. And so getting that second goal gives us that margin for error in case something happens or they, get really creative on their end. So, of course, it was terrific. And, yes, Mac is obviously a bit better running at players and getting in behind defenses than she is having to kind of get jammed in front of their back line. We've worked on some things recently to just kind of unlock defenses like that, and we weren't as successful as I'd like us to be for sure. But that was a great example of where Tony just used a real quick decision to put a ball in behind the back line, and you create your own luck. I don't like to say that you're lucky. We've been we've had plenty of unlucky moments, hit the post 1,000 times this year. So for that rebound to kind of come right back off of her. She created that opportunity, and it was maybe a little bit fortunate at that moment, but certainly deserving.
You look into the week coming up, and our road game against Alderson Broad is one of the last MEC North games that we'll play. Back home again on Sunday against Charleston, and even looking ahead to next week, another home game against West Virginia State, who currently is top of the MEC overall. We talked with Mackenzie earlier, and she mentioned how you like to preach that, yes, you can think about some of the, MEC tournament, NCAA stuff, but each game will be the most important game next up, and that's the mentality you want the team to have.
So AB is scrappy and will defend well and will be stubborn at home. We should never assume anything about the condition of any of the teams. Obviously, we're watching video and scouting and things, but we're not going to look past Wednesday, of course, and we need to take care of our business. And the only thing for sure I think about any of these games is we're going to have the ball some percentage of the time, and if we execute well with the ball, we're going to be in the games. But obviously, the shape of the schedule is pretty clear. We're going to play the top 2 or 3 teams in the MEC to finish up, and that's going to determine our playoff position. So really big games coming up, and we're excited and hopefully have a real good positive energy to the end of the season.
Well, Coach, thank you for taking the time to come and talk to us. We always appreciate your time here. Congratulations on getting the couple of wins and hopefully pick up some more results here at the end of the season as well.
Going to be very exciting as we finish the regular season and see how we can do in the playoff.
All right, well, next up, we wrap up the awards with Cole Alcala from men's tennis. He is back on as our male athlete of the week. Wrapping up Week 8 of the Frostburg Sports Awards is Cole Alcala from men's tennis after he had a fine weekend at the Bloomsburg Invitational. Cole, a pretty long weekend for you guys all considering, but, how would you sum up your performances?
I think I played pretty good, especially in singles. I was a little disappointed that I lost my second match, but I'm happy I could recollect myself and be able to get it done in the second day. I'm still figuring out doubles. I had a new partner this weekend, and I had a lot of fun.
Now, this was a little bit different format than what we're used to seeing just regular match play where, you start out in the 3 doubles flights and you turn around and you get the 3 singles flights as well. What differences in preparation or how you handled things did you have, if there were any, with having a weekend format versus just a single match day?
I actually like playing multiple matches in a single day because you're always looking forward to something throughout the day, you're done and then you have nothing else to do when it's just a match, but you finish and then you get ready for your next one. But then they said that they were fast sets, the 4-game sets, so I didn't really enjoy that, but it is what it is.
You did mention that you had a new doubles partner in Del Carden who has been here for a year. You're coming in as a freshman. Del's had about 3 years under his belt now. How have, what was the relationship like? How have you guys kind of come together in your partnership and just kind of learning each other's antics and how you play on the court?
I mean, I really enjoy him as a partner. I think his experience is kind of helping me out, because I don't have that much experience and he does. So I'm learning a lot from him, and I think we're having fun together, and I look forward to playing with him in the future too.
In singles play, you did mention that tough second round loss, but you won your first and third rounds and also got to see some Division I competition, and Lafayette and St. Bonaventures were both there and some high quality opponents. In your mentality, was it just another day and another opponent that you're just going up against them, or did it at part you go into the back of your mind that you're playing against D1 guys?
I mean, to be honest, I didn't even know the first match that the guy was from a D1 school, so I just went in there and played like I would have any other match.
So coming off of those results, then getting some confidence back into match play this week, we hope, weather forbidding, of Shepherd, and that will be our last competition here of the fall before the spring. Does it give you any confidence and expectations into going into another match, or like you mentioned, just going out there and doing your job just like any other week?
Yeah, I mean, not really. I just step on the court and I just try and get it done, try and get a point for my team every time.
Well, Cole, thank you for coming on today. We want to congratulate you on your weekend and taking the time to talk to us. Certainly wishing you the best of luck this week and going forward into the spring season as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, that does it for this week. Next week, we will be back with another pair of athletes and another coach. As always, go Bobcats.